From Canelo Alvarez's prediction about Haney as the favorite of the match to Lomachenko himself talking about the fight being a way to redeem his legacy, these are fighters' predictions for the upcoming match: Devin Haney versus Vasiliy Lomachenko. Starting with what Canelo Alvarez has to say about the world title fight. Hint: it's not good news for Vasiliy. Canelo seems to think that Lomachenko has lost some of his edge. According to Alvarez, Haney has a pretty solid chance of taking the title, saying Devin Haney right now is the favorite. I mean, Haney is already the undisputed champion at 135 pounds. He rightfully earned that title by defeating George Kambosos Jr. in Australia in 2022, so his odds do look pretty good. But Canelo wasn't all Team Haney. He did give props to both fighters. Loma used to be the unified world champion at the same weight before losing the title in 2020, but he's since bounced back with 3 straight wins. So, making predictions about these fights is not as easy as some would think. That said, a lot of folks are backing up Devin. Roy Jones Jr. thinks the American fighter needs to take a page out of Teofimo Lopez's book. He thinks the Dream needs to use his size advantage to dominate Loma. According to Roy, Lomachenko isn't really a lightweight. He's more of a junior lightweight. So Devin should use his bigger frame to keep him at bay and earn his respect early on in the fight. As for the Matrix, Roy thinks that Lomachenko started a little too late in his fight with Lopez. And if he wants to win against the American, he needs to come out swinging with his attack. However, this approach might just put him at risk of getting crushed by a bigger guy. So honestly, it's a bit of a gamble. What Jones really believes is the key for victory is for both fighters to maximize their strengths and be willing to adjust their tactics. Now, the Dream could listen to Jones, or he could take some notes from boxer Teofimo Lopez. After all, he's one of the few fighters who's managed to take down Vasiliy Lomachenko with an insane win over the top-notch Ukrainian to become the world's best lightweight. But then, George Kambosos took Lopez's crown in 2021, only to lose it in back-to-back fights against Devin. Now, the undisputed lightweight champion is set to defend his title against Lomachenko, and even though Haney's the favorite going into the fight, the takeover is predicting an upset. When asked about Loma, Lopez had nothing but respect for the fighter. He's been in the ring with him before. So, if anyone knows just how smart and tactical he is, it's Teofimo. According to Lopez, nobody beats Lomachenko. Nobody. He says Loma's got dirty tactics, and he's got clean ones, but above all, he's got a lot of experience. And while Teofimo thinks that Haney won't know what hit him, other fighters are still placing their bets on Devin the Dream Haney, including the young lightweight fighter, Shakur Stevenson. According to Shakur, it's a tough call. On one hand, Haney's got all the belts and glory. But on the other hand, Loma is a fighting legend who's got that superstar appeal to him. And let's be real, a fight between the two is for sure to be a clash of titans. As for his prediction, he's certain that the Dream has got it in the bag. And why? It's simple. Size matters. Devin's a big dude, and Lomachenko's gonna have a hard time dealing with that. Of course, Lomachenko's still Lomachenko, so he's sure to have some tricks up his sleeve. But the real question is, will that be enough? For that, you're going to want to hear from Jorge Linares. He's the only fighter who's fought against both of these guys before. Jorge's putting his money on Haney to win this one, saying he thinks the American fighter will keep his 4 belts in a decision victory. And you know what? He might have a point. The WBC belt holder has been on a roll lately, with big wins over George Kambosos Jr., who pulled off one of the craziest upsets of 2021 by beating Teofimo Lopez. Now, don't get me wrong, Lomachenko's no slouch either. He's held all sorts of world titles, and he's bounced back from a loss to Lopez with some solid wins over guys like Nakatani, Comey, and Ortiz. But some folks have been saying he's looking a little past his prime lately, and that might just give Haney the edge he needs. But according to other fighters, it won't be that easy for him to get a win from Loma. Former boxer turned commentator Paulie Malignaggi gave his 2 cents on the match, and he thinks the 24-year-old has to do more than just the basics if he wants to come out on top. Malignaggi has been critical of Haney in the past, saying that he's had an easier route to the title than anyone he's ever seen. But even he acknowledges that the man has some skills, like his athleticism, speed, and timing. And while Lomachenko has had trouble with bigger lightweights, he's also shown that he knows how to beat them. Malignaggi thinks that this fight has the potential to be a good one, and many can't wait to see what'll go down in this legendary matchup. because Haney's a monster in the ring. This guy has been knocking out opponents left and right. And even though he got a fancy belt from the WBC back in 2019, people weren't totally convinced he was the real deal until he took down the undefeated Kambosos. And get this, he did it once again and showed everyone he's the king of the lightweights. And as much as he likes to show talent, he sure likes to talk about it too. The champion has got a lot to say about his upcoming match with Lomachenko. He was asked about what he thinks of Lomachenko claiming he's never lost a fight in his mind. And let me tell you, the WBA title owner did not hold back. He straight up called him delusional, saying he'd lost not just once, but twice. And get this, the guy wants to replace Lomachenko as the best fighter out there. He says he still respects what Loma has done for boxing. Devin is stoked that he's in a position to defend his belts against Loma and show him who's champ now. He really believes that he's everything now. And although Loma's got some serious skills, the Dream seems to think that the guy relies on some dirty tactics, and he's not a fan of that. Our man just wants a fair fight, you know? But let's face it, a win in this fight would really solidify Loma's status as a future Hall of Famer. On the flip side, if the lightweight champ loses, it'll be a major setback, especially considering the size advantage he has over Loma. But let's not forget, the Matrix has built a name for himself for a reason. The guy used to be quite the Olympic champion before he went pro in 2013. He won a world title as a featherweight in his third pro fight, and then added another at 130 pounds before moving up to become a full-time lightweight in 2018. He was doing pretty well in that division too, with a record of 4-0 and 2 KOs, until his loss to Lopez. But he's been on a winning streak ever since then, with 3 victories in a row. He even beat Ortiz, who has a record of 16-0-1 since 2016. Now, according to the WBC and WBO, Lomachenko is ranked first among Haney's contenders. Plus, The Ring has him ranked as the #1 lightweight contender behind Devin, and 6th overall on the pound-for-pound list. This fight between the two legends makes a lot of sense in terms of championship rankings, and both are pretty keen on the idea. I mean, they can't seem to stop talking about it. Just take a look at what Loma has to say about the matchup. Experts are saying he's looking like the underdog in this fight, but Lomachenko himself is feeling pretty confident, saying he doesn't even consider himself to have any losses on his record. "I'm undefeated in my mind," he said while talking to some boxing reporters. But don't be fooled, he's not taking this fight lightly. In fact, he's treating it like a chance at redemption, an opportunity to reclaim his glory and show everyone what he's made of. In an interview with ES News, he seemed fired up and ready to take on the American fighter. As to why this fight with Devin is so darn important to him, apparently, it all comes down to something he's always talking about: legacy. See, Lomachenko isn't just in this for the money. No, for him, it's about leaving his mark on the world, making something of himself that people will remember long after he's retired. But how does he plan to do that, you ask? Well, according to the man himself, it all starts with setting goals for yourself, and then going after them with everything you've got. Say what you will about the guy, but you can't say he isn't hungry for success. So, get ready to see the fight of the century on 20th May 2023. It's the ultimate battle between size and experience, and it might just go down in fighting history. So, there you have it. From Vasiliy "High-Tech" Lomachenko taking on the American fighter to redeem his legacy, to Canelo Alvarez's predicting Devin Haney as the obvious winner of the match. Those were the fighters' predictions for the upcoming match: Devin Haney versus Vasiliy Lomachenko.